Namaste. Namaste, a beautiful Sanskrit word that translates as, I honor the place within you where you are love, from the same place within me where I am love. When you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we are one. Namaste. Welcome to Integral Health Care with myself, Serena Morello, licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida since 1982. Almost 40 years practicing clinically, sometimes as director of Biofeedback of various hospitals. For a number of years, a clinical provider for the John Henry Center for Integrative Medicine at Boca Raton Regional Hospital. Always with a private clinical practice, always teaching, sometimes practicing my teaching of Hatha Yoga, meditation, breath work, but always against the background of my clinical work since 1982, specializing in mindfulness as a cognitive behavioral therapist, specializing in stress management, specializing in biofeedback as a biofeedback therapist, and through it all, as a foundation and a grounding, mind, body, one word, relaxation training. So, hello, nice to greet you. We will start this program with a beautiful poem, an anonymous poem. Allow yourself to get really comfortable. Allow yourself to take a deep diaphragmatic breath, starting with the exhale, letting the tummy relax, and through the nostrils of the nose, release the breath. And then with an inhale, inhale through the nostrils of the nose, expand the tummy, the ribs, and the chest, and exhale, tummy in, ribs together, chest relaxes. One more time, a deep diaphragmatic breath. Exhale first and relax. The tummy just relaxes. Inhale, as though you're inflating a balloon. Expand the tummy, the ribs, and the chest. And exhale, tummy in, ribs together, chest relaxes. You may choose to continue with the diaphragmatic breath for as long as you choose while we are going through this teaching, especially while I read to you this anonymous poem. Close your eyes and you will see clearly. Cease to listen and you will hear truth. Be silent and your heart will sing. Seek no contact and you will find unity. Be still and you will move on the tide of the Spirit. Be gentle and you will need no strength. Be patient and you will achieve all things. Be humble and you will remain entire. Allow yourself to take another deep diaphragmatic breath and meditate on each of those concepts in that beautiful anonymous poem. Namaste. Continue with the breath as I introduce you to the foundation of this program. I named it in 1982, just upon graduating from my master's degree at Nova Southeastern University. Beyond that, I was able to do a 1-year practicum with Dr. Doyle Montgomery, leading biofeedback professional psychologist. I was in the practicum for a year, but I had also walked down the aisle for my degree in my 9th month of pregnancy with our first daughter. So the practicum was only a year, by choice and by plan. And at that time, I named what I do integral health care. I am the behavioral medicine specialist. Over the years, they have called me the holistic therapist, the alternative therapist. I never considered it alternative. The complementary therapist. Complementary was fine with me. Now it's behavioral medicine specialist, so what I do has not changed. What I teach is ancient. I have pulled together ancient teachings, thousands of years old, many of them out of the country of India. Many of them I did not originally create, nor did I do the original research. What I did do that is completely original is pull all of the pieces together into a unified whole so that you can master the power of your mind to heal your body and spirit easily and smoothly beyond the confines, the limitations of medication. Medication. This is not to say that medication is not appropriate. Fortunately, we live in a country where we have much wonderful medication for many situations, and unfortunately, it is so often prescribed beyond teaching the client or the patient to use their own mind to heal their body. I recommend doing the medication when it is necessary, as appropriately prescribed, and practicing on your own with your own mind to help to heal your body of any and all stress-related disorders, especially irritable bowel syndrome, insomnia, high blood pressure, anxiety, Raynaud's syndrome, chronic pain, fibromyalgia, and many other stress-related conditions. I forgot to mention urinary incontinence. Urinary incontinence, for those that are struggling with it, is not complicated to turn around with these teachings. As a matter of fact, it can be an enjoyable practice and relatively easy. So as a behavioral medicine specialist, I have always chosen in integral healthcare to work with the medical doctor, the MD, or the nurse practitioner, or the doctorate of nurse practitioning. I work with the person in front of me as a client. These people, the medical doctors and the nurse practitioners, will work with the same person as a patient. The distinction between patient and client is actually, in my world, one word. That word is responsibility, or the way that I like to say it is respondability. And even further than that, I twist the words around. Ability to respond. The client that I work with nurtures, reinforces, and practices the ability to respond with their bodies, their minds, and their spirit, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, to their health primarily, as well as any lack of health, which in our culture we call disease. disease, out of ease, a condition, a diagnosis. So the client, in practicing responsibility, does not leave their entire situation up to the person seeing them. Whether the person seeing them is a mental health counselor or psychologist or social worker like myself, all with similar training, or a medical person like a medical doctor, a nurse practitioner. The person taking responsibility literally spends a lot of time when diagnosed with any condition to first discover the lesson that condition has been created in their systems to teach them. I believe that everything in life comes as a lesson, lesson 101. To the extent that we master and learn the lesson that, for instance, a fluttering in the heart has come to us, we do not have to go further. If we don't learn the initial lesson, we may have to create a situation where we have what's diagnosed as high blood pressure, and then medication comes along to lower that high blood pressure. But that blood pressure could be lowered with biofeedback, and beautifully lowered. The cardiac application of biofeedback is phenomenal. It's been well researched. It is well practiced. As a matter of fact, it is phenomenal. But assuming that person doesn't pay attention and avoids taking the medication for that high blood pressure, that person may need a deeper lesson, such as a heart attack, or perhaps a stroke. That is how I look at disease. That is how I look at health. That is how I look at wellness. And I invite you to consider the next time you have symptoms, any symptoms, that you look behind those symptoms and hold the question, what has this come into my life to teach me? Where do I have to make a change? Where emotionally do I have to alter my emotional response with the people that I love? What do I have to do differently about what I put into my body, the food that I eat, the liquids that I drink, the substances that perhaps I'm not supposed to take? What is going inside my body that is having an impact and an effect on my well-being? All those questions need to be looked at. I know that none of us have the time. We're always so busy doing what we call life on the planet. Sometimes, under the conditions of a pandemic, that life is forced to slow down and pay attention. So more of us are paying attention to the little things that take place, the little sign that something is out of balance. But that's for you to explore, and perhaps during this series of teachings, you will find the way to utilize your own resources to answer that question, what has this come into my life to teaching? What has this come into my life to teach me? And what can I learn from it? And how can I grow from it? The medical person, the medical doctor, or the nurse practitioner working with a patient does not have to have the patient be anything but compliant with the medication. That's a major requirement. And depending upon who your medical person is, you will get more or less information about what's going on inside of your body, your mind, or your spirit. I actually choose, in any kind of circumstances, not only to see a medical doctor for my body, but to see a psychologist, psychotherapist, or a social worker for my mind, and even to consult with that professional or layperson that attends to my spirit. Is it a priest? Is it a nun? Is it a rabbi? Who is it that's going to help me to look a little deeper at the spiritual growth or lesson that I'm supposed to learn? I speak not from books, I speak from personal experience, as you probably have already imagined. I speak from deep personal experience. Everything that I teach you in this series of lessons will come from my many years of going through this life with many challenges and approaching each challenge as though it's a big lesson to learn. And hopefully I have done well by even standing here in front of you today without my cane, without the brace that I have to wear on my right leg when I do any power walking, without the belt that I have to wear around my midriff, fastened pretty tightly to secure the straightness of my spine, without the shoulder adjustments that I wear around my shoulders to keep my shoulders straight. I stand before you today as a walking, living, breathing testament that what I am teaching you can apply whether you are 5 years old, 10 years old, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 90, 100, or 108. I do hope that it will benefit you greatly. And also, not only benefit you as either the patient or the client, depending upon who you're working with, and I don't really call it working, I call it playing. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Life is meant to have fun. Life is meant to have you live it with a smile on your face. So rather than talking about what we're going to do in these lessons as work, why don't we think of it as play? Why not approach the entire process with a light attitude? Almost an attitude that sees you enjoying going to school and learning. The kind of attitude that allows you to explore the deeper reaches of your mind, body, and spirit. I recommend that highly. As you proceed along those lines, this other group will be involved. This other group, the family. The family is very important, whether you're functioning as the client or the patient. The family are those people who are in your household, or those people who you got born right next to, older or younger, or those parents that gave birth to you, or your broader family, the family of your church, your synagogue, your temple, the family, wherever you have created that family. Very important. Very, very important. Nurture them. Love them. Love is why we are here. And to the extent that we have a greater experience, that will be determined by who we love, and how we express that love, how we receive it, and how we give it. And on the note of love, which is the foundation of our existence, not only us two-leggeds, but those that swim, and those that fly, and those four-leggeds, those beautiful four-leggeds on this beautiful, beautiful planet Earth, and all that greenery that feels and expresses its feeling, and all the flowers, all of that comprises what we're calling love. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you for the next lesson.